Welcome to my video. My name's Jamie, and today we're going to go through how to replace the alternator in my 2011 Mustang GT. I've got a few key tips here that might not be intuitive if this is the first time you've done it. I've done it twice now. The second time here I had a bad voltage regulator that was pushing off 19 volts to the battery. It ruined the battery and luckily didn't ruin the car. But here's the video on how to swap that alternator out and get you back on the road. Let's start with the obvious stuff. We got to take the air cleaner off, move this hose back, and we're going to need to take the air box off as well. Got one bolt here. Down here at the alternator, you've got the power, the main line you need to disconnect. That's a 12mm bolt, and then there's a clip down here. So these clips, which are the worst thing to do on any car, is to get them off. This one is, you press here on the back. So I'm going to use my left hand and press. Belt tensioner is a 16mm. This first one's a 15mm. So the bolt we have to get to here on the back side is there, but you can see the head of it. We got a flat closed end here so that I can hopefully get some leverage on it with a helper. There's a click. Okay. So to give me some better access, I'm gonna remove this part of the intake. So just sliding the plastic cover off and get to this hose clamp right here. In order to get that lower bolt out, with my left hand I relieved the tension, and with my right hand I was able to come in here and pull that bolt out. Unfortunately, I've done this job once before and I tried dropping the alternator out, but to no avail. So you really need to remove the sway bar, lower it down so that you got to lower the sway bar so you can pull the alternator out. So I'm going to do that now. It's 2 bolts here and underneath 15mm. So the top link end here is an 18 front and back. So the alternators, it's going to pivot on this top portion, so I need to get it to rotate out. So I have it here with a pry bar on the ear of the alternator and just against the base of the tensioner. Looks like that's enough to get it going. All right, back up to the top of the car. Let's see if we can get it to pivot and come out. You see, we have to come forward, and there we go. Okay, so it's as up and down as it's going to go, and so we can go forward with it. And this is where we're going to go back underneath and drop it down past the sway bar. Well, this needed an oil change anyway, so drop the filter and the alternator will come right out here. You're going to move the sway bar up, and there's lots of room to kind of come right up in through here. I have the optional oil cooler, so that's partly why this is sticking out a little bit further, and just drop the filter, make that come out a heck of a lot easier. All right, with a little finagling, you're able to get that up past the sway bar, up into the cavity. And then now we're going to hook the top on that top bolt so it kind of hangs like a pendulum. All right. And now you can see I've got to get it on there more so I can get these two parts on the left and right of the, and there we go. All right, so we are in. So up here from the top, I'm going to bring the tensioner pulley to the left so that I can fit this through the holes, the mounting holes on the bottom. Right there. When you're putting the sway bar back, make sure you start the bolts, get everything started before you start cranking it up. Otherwise you won't be able to, unless you jack it up, you won't be able to align the sway bar. So get everything started before you start tightening it up. To get the belt aligned, I recommend as you move the tensioner left to loosen up the tension, I recommend that you hook the belt on the alternator first, leaving the idler here loose, and then as you loosen up the tensioner to make more slack, it's easier to slide the belt underneath this because it's a flat pulley as opposed to being ribbed like the alternator is. Next thing I'm going to do here, tighten up that top nut, put on the power, and connect the connection in the back of the alternator. Okay, we started up. Sounds great. Let's come over here, check this voltage. Remember, we're getting up to 18, 19 volts before. Let's see what we got now. Perfect. Done.